In this video, I'm playing Backgammon versus the Bot with my good friend Justin Nunez. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. My book, Backgammon Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. In this video, it's my pleasure to have my good friend Justin Nunez joining me. Thank you for joining me and welcome.
It's a pleasure.
How are you doing today?
Doing well. Perfect day in Southern California down here in San Diego.
Yeah, you live in the San Diego area now, right?
Yep. Sunny and 75.
I remember,
January.
yeah, maybe 10 years ago or so, you were here in LA and we used to play together all the time.
Yeah, that's very true. I spent about 7 years up there a decade or so ago, and then eventually made our way back to San Diego, which is where I was born and raised.
Good, good. And now I know you and others are doing a lot of work to grow the San Diego Backgammon Club. Tell us about that, please.
Correct. Yeah. For a good while, almost up to a year ago or so, it was just basically a chouette with some core players. Then world champion Frank Frigo came into the mix. He moved into the San Diego area. And another gentleman named Michael Pines decided to really try to promote the club, and they've done a wonderful job. Wonderful job. There's like 40 warm bodies there every Wednesday night, and it's just it's a great crowd. There's no problems. Everybody has a good time, and it's easy to access. It's only $20 to get in, and you can do side pulls all the way up to $100 if you feel like it.
That's great. That's great. And you're also involved in backgammon. You're giving lessons. Is that correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Do you do that in person or virtually?
It depends. Depends. We could do both. Like if the person is from our club and they're local here in San Diego, and we can agree on a good meetup place, about halfway in the middle, I'll go ahead and do that. Or if it's somebody who's maybe a little further away or who would just rather not, get out on the streets and drive around, we do that too.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice, like if you're going to the tournament before or after, you could do a lesson for an hour or something like that. And I
Yep.
feel like nowadays a lot of people are doing things virtually, after COVID, which is obviously COVID was terrible, but this is something nice, and you can also use the XG feature to learn, so that's good.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
So if someone is interested in lessons, what's the best way to contact you?
You can either text me, call me, email me. All my contact info should be included in the comments area below the video if you want
I
to check
will
it
put
out.
it in there. Did you want to announce it on the video?
Sure. Yeah. Phone number 619-316-0982. Email is Justin_Nunez@yahoo.com.
And you spell Nunez, Nunez.
Correct.
Okay, very good. I remember we had that discussion one time. Some people have similar last names, but pronounce it a little differently depending on where they're
Right.
from.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, great. Ready to get started?
Sounds good.
All
Let's
right,
do
let
this.
me pull this up here. This one. Okay, there we go. Are you able to see the board now?
I can. Looks like my board.
Yeah, so I like to customize the boards. I have a lot of different skins. This is not one by Rain. This is one of the default ones in XG. But Rain makes a lot of skins. I put his link in the description. This is a talkie board similar to yours. I remember you used to play on the talkie board,
I
and
still have it. It's treated me well over the years. I've only had to have it resurfaced one time, so it's like probably 15 plus years old now.
yeah, really, really high quality board, and you use it a lot.
Absolutely. Hmm.
So you'll be playing the red checkers at the bottom, XG, the white checkers at the top. It's a 3-point match. You can consult with me and just let me know what you like to play. And if you want a double, of course, let me know. So an opening 5-1.
Okay, sounds good. Uh, Usually standard is just to split the back checkers and bring one down.
Okay. Now 6-1. Okay. Now we roll. 3-2.
I will go ahead and grab an anchor here.
Yep. Okay. Okay, interesting. You see
Yeah.
how white split slotted there. A lot of people wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's an interesting slot. There's very little risk there this early in the game with both, players not having many points in their board. So, it definitely adds a fourth point to the prime for the white side. So, yeah, seems reasonable.
Yeah, the things I like about it is that it slots the next point you want to make. It gives good ones and threes that are otherwise not good elsewhere. And if red wants to hit, red would have to break the anchor, which is a valuable asset.
Right. And it unstacks a huge tower sitting on the screen.
Exactly, exactly. Yeah, yeah. I feel like a lot of the times you can learn from what XG plays.
That's how I learned.
Yeah, so see 3-1, it duplicates the 3-1. So now what?
Oh, I'm thinking due to all the reasons that you just mentioned, the downsides of red splitting his back checkers, we should probably just grab the 5 point.
The 5 point. So of course the alternative play would be to hit with the one, but then there's not really a good three. You would have to do this. Now,
Right.
the upside of this is you send a third checker back. You bring an extra checker in the zone. The downside is you break the anchor, and there's what, 9 checkers in the zone here.
hmm hmm Usually in these 3 point matches, my experience has been that, you don't need too many gammons in the mix to really kind of skew the take points and the doubling points. So, even with this early in the game, the fact that you're abandoning your anchor and you're freeing up another blot from the midpoint does carry a little extra risk in this kind of a scenario.
Right. And additionally, here you're able to unstack these points, and now you have a solid asset on both sides. I've heard some people say if you own both 5 points, you're probably pretty close to a double. And here it's not the five, it's the four, but at least it's the five. Pretty good
Yes.
assets on both sides.
You're doing well defensively and offensively here.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, if you look at it in the from the opponent's perspective, like if you were white, would you rather be on roll from this position or from this position?
I would prefer this position if I were
Yeah,
white.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
so we'll
a
do
lot of
this.
jokers in the cup on that position.
Right, right. Okay, so we'll do that 3-1. So split and made the 5 point.
Okay.
Trying to make an advanced anchor. One of the things I think for the novices they teach is, once if your opponent has an advanced anchor, it becomes increasingly important for you to have an advanced anchor.
Got
So
it.
that's what they're doing. Okay, 5-4.
So, based on what you just said, we want to try to prevent him from getting an anchor. So we should probably just bring one all the way down from the midpoint and hit loose.
Yeah, so that's good. So now there are 10 checkers in the zone, right? If you hit here and then hit another one, this is kind of a thematic play, but there are only 9 checkers in the zone. So I don't know that this is indicated here. After we're done, we can look at it on a different board
Sure.
and
I think it's
modify
a
the
big
position.
consideration to think about the number of checkers in the zone when you do some kind of like, I guess that would be called a double tiger.
Double tiger. Yeah, I think maybe if one of these checkers on the midpoint were here on the 8 point, that might be the play.
It would
But,
make it
but
closer. Yeah.
yeah, so here's the fours for sure, and then the five, you just want to bring another one down.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. We were missed. Excellent.
So
All right. Where
it
we are.
works well when you're missed. Yeah. What are you looking at now?
Well, I'm not sure we're quite ready to cube yet. I mean, even though we do have the 10 checkers in the zone and his back checkers are split, we're still parked behind a four prime back there. So I think we need to take a roll.
Okay. What do you think would need to be modified in this position to make it a double, if
Oh,
anything?
boy. That area I'm not too confident about, but I would probably say you would need at least a few more race points. Um,
Maybe make the 3 point?
yeah, I would probably make the 3 point as well. That might be that might be something that would get us closer to the doubling window.
Yeah, if you move a checker from, I'm sorry, not the 3 point, the 4 point. If you move a checker from the 6 to the 4,
Yeah.
now you have the 3 point board,
Mhm.
up 2 more pips in the race. Then it might be a double, but I feel like this is still, there's a lot of work to do back here.
Yeah, 100%. Four primes is four prime.
Yeah. Okay. 3-1.
Okay, let's point on his head. Hope he dances.
Now, some people would prefer to make the more pure point. Why do you
Right.
prefer to point on head and have this gap here?
Um, I don't want to give him an opportunity to make any kind of anchor at this point in time, whether it's the 4 point or the 3 point. I want to keep him bouncing. And I think that because we're kind of fairly close, even though we're not quite at the doubling window, this is a great opportunity to, give him a chance to fail and not enter and then turn the cube and let him decide.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I feel like this gives a nice distribution of spares here, whereas the
Yeah.
other play leaves 2 here and none there.
Yeah.
So good.
It helps in the race too. It helps give us a little bit more of an edge in the race.
3 more pips in the race, right?
Right.
And the crossover. So some people like to count crossovers.
Mhm.
Going from the bar to coming in is actually technically a crossover. Some
That's right.
people, yeah. Okay, so now,
Okay. I'm thinking we could probably cube this, and I'm thinking it's probably a take.
okay. So for the reasons we discussed before, now
Right.
we're at like 10 pips. You have a 3 point board.
Hmm.
10 in the zone, but 2 checkers back. Okay, so you want to double?
Sure.
Okay, and you think XG will take?
Probably a take, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now 6-2.
Okay. Wow. Okay, we have options here. Can either bring one down and reinforce the 5 point, or we can just run one checker out from behind the prime to safety. And I'm kind of leaning more towards the running play.
Yeah. So one of the things I tell people is outside of using the cubes, there are 4 main strategies to win at backgammon. Of course, there's the racing strategy, which this is like that. There's a priming strategy where you block, and white's kind of has a prime here. There's the attacking or blitzing strategy, and the fourth one's a defensive strategy, like a holding game. So I think like I try to put that in the front of my mind when I'm looking at this position. What's the best way for us to win here? I think
Yeah.
this would be good for attacking or maybe priming, whereas this would be good for racing. So you think the racing play,
I think so. Being ahead in the race, usually in general, regardless of the features of this position, calls for kind of more of a running play where you try to get your back checkers to freedom. So I think the same applies here.
additionally, I feel like
Actually,
this, yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think that also this is a little bit more of a non-committal play because when you do this and you're ahead in the race, it's going to be hard to kind of come out, but you're going to probably want to use your next roll to make a point here, and these might get stuck. On the other hand, when
Mhm.
you do this, you could roll a nice racing number, and that will be good here. But at the same time, you could still attack by making the point with the spares.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that he is on the bar right now dramatically reduces the number of rolls that he can use to point on your head back there in his home board. So the fact that he's on the bar, I think, is a perfect time to try to get your checkers to safety here.
Yes, that's a good point. You're also duplicating a lot of the numbers because you notice that White would like to hit with 2s and 4s with the spares, and those are the exact numbers that he needs to come in
That
with.
helps.
Yeah, if the spares were moved around, that might change things.
Right.
Okay, good. Okay, double 2, that was one of them.
Yep.
Unfortunately,
Some
uh,
days you're the pigeon, some days you're the
uh-oh.
statue, right?
Yeah, now 6-5. All right, we might be facing a redouble soon. Okay,
I think I'm going to let this one go.
yeah. So, why do you say that? I mean, what are the things that you look at in the position?
You've got to do multiple hard things to get that checker in and then out again. And the fact that you're on the bar for the same reasons that we talked about earlier, he's going to use that opportunity to try to escape his back checkers. And by the time that happens, he's going to have a racing lead, and it'll be basically a drop on every category: the threats, the position, the race. So yeah, I don't see us turning this around very often.
Right, right. I mean, some of the things I look at is, you look at the board strength. It's a 3-point board versus a 3-point board.
Mhm.
But White has a pure 3-point board, meaning he has the rack, the 4, 5, and 6 point, whereas we have a gap.
Right,
Additionally, White has a solid 5 prime. So even if we come in, we'd have to come in with a 3 and throw an immediate 6 to come out. Also, there's no possibility to anchor, so we might get attacked. So
right.
it's
That's a
kind of
big
looking.
reason.
Yeah. And then what about the score? How does that come into play when you're thinking about these types of decisions?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think the take point on that is when you're trailing three away, one away. I think it's 25%.
Yeah. Three away, one away Crawford it's
Yeah,
approximately 25%. The exact value is 24.92. Neil
right.
Kasparov told me that, but 25%. Can you win this a quarter of the time without counting any gammons? Because once the cube is on four, gammons are meaningless.
Say that again. Sorry.
Once the cube is on four, gammons are meaningless for both players.
Right. Exactly.
Additionally, the other thing that some people think about or don't think about is in a money game, there's always a value of owning the cube. So if we take this cube, we're going to own the cube. And for money, we'll always have the chance to redouble. However, in this position, the cube is killed. So there is zero value of cube ownership because you can never use it to redouble.
That's right. Gammons are very limited in value.
Right. Gammons and also redoubles. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So we'll pass. All right. So now we're down two away, one away, three away Crawford. So one of the things I learned at this score is think about when your opponent's at the Crawford game and you're at an odd away score, gammons don't have that much value for you, right?
No, you usually want to play this type of score kind of as if it's DMP. So you're not worried about gammon losses. You're not worried about winning gammons. You just want to play to win the game.
Right. Okay. So with an opening 3-2.
Okay. Hang on, Alex. I am having a little technical difficulty here. I'm trying to get back to the screen.
No, no problem.
My apologies. Okay, go ahead. All right, 3-2. So in this situation, a lot of people would probably think, oh, I'm behind. I better play a more, gammon go type of play here and try to get a gammon. But as we discussed, it's not important. So yeah, that would be the more gammon go play. So you have, splitting as well, which is more of a DMP or a gammon save type of play. But then we have to decide which way we want to split. Do we want to use the big number in the back or the big number in the front? And so I guess it's very close, if I remember correctly. So you could probably choose either. I tend to lean towards the minor split.
This one.
Right.
Okay, so for money, the major split is a little bit better, and I've
Okay.
studied these. This is different. This is obviously not money. So I think they're close, but I've studied a lot of these things. So like 3-2, this is better for a number of reasons. First of all,
Okay.
when you come up here, you're slotting a better anchor, the 21 point than the 22 point. Second of all, what happens when you do this is you notice that you start with the 6 point and 8 point, which are two apart. So I have this roll classification system, which I call dice value difference, which means the difference in the value of the dice. For example, a 3-2, the difference is 3 minus 2 is 1. So 3-2 is a DVD 1 roll. So if you think about when you're two apart, the DVD 2 rolls like 3-1, 4-2, 5-3, and 6-4 are good. But now
Mhm.
look, they're all duplicated because these are two apart and these are two apart. So 3-1 is triplicated. You can make this point, you can make this point, or you can make this point. Additionally, 4-2, you can make the 4 point or the 20 point.
Yeah,
5-3,
that's a great observation.
yeah. So when you do this, you have a lot of different rules. So now like 4-1 and 6-3, although they're duplicated on both sides, you have something different here. Like 6-1 you could use here, 6-4 you can do there, 6-4 you can do there. So those are kind of the benefits. It's the same with the 4-3 split. With the 4-3 opening split, instead of bringing this here, you bring it here. So it's on the 9 point rather than the 10 point. And you kind of want to avoid putting the checker in front of the next point that the opponent wants to make.
Hmm.
So which one would you prefer?
I like your explanation. We should split with the three.
Okay, it's going to be close, so no big
Yeah.
deal.
Hmm.
Double one, okay, hit. 6-4 dance, 6-5 run,
Okay.
6-2. Okay, so the 2 is forced. And now, how do you think about the 6?
At DMP, you can afford to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more loose with your blots, your placement of your blots, and the number of blots that you have. And you also want to, if you have back checkers, you want to kind of favor leaving those in the far back as you can, especially if you're down in the race. That's a DMP kind of concept. So I would favor moving 11 to 5 or 13 to 7. I'm thinking probably 11 to 5 is going to be a little bit better. Just, slots the point that you most want to make next.
Yeah, I feel like these two will be close. The other benefit of 13 to 7 is it brings an additional checker into the zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I've studied the openings a lot. And when you look at the opening position, of course, each player has 2 checkers back. Those are the major liabilities that you really want to address. The secondary liabilities are the stacks on the 6-point and the midpoint. And it is more difficult to unstack the 6-point than the midpoint for a number of reasons. Number one, you cannot move a 6 from the 6-point. Number two, you cannot move a 5 from the 6-point from the opening position. Number three, after the first roll, you may be able to move with a 5, but then that goes deep as well. 4s also go deep.
Yeah.
What I've learned is you really want to use these checkers to make the 5-point. So
Okay.
this is probably I think this is fine, but when you do this, essentially you're not able to use these checkers as much to make those points. But I think they're going to be very close.
Yeah, interesting observation. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that looks on the analysis.
Yeah. Okay. All right. 5-2.
All right. I'm thinking you probably don't want to enter with the 5 since you're under the gun with 3 spares aiming at you. So probably entering on the 23 is better, and just bringing another checker into the zone by going 13-8.
Yeah. So that's a good play. Also, like there's this other idea, I call it like the distraction play. Let's say you come in like here, right? White's gonna want to make this point with like 6s, 3s, and 1s. And you don't really care about losing a gammon, and you really don't want white to make that because then you'll be in trouble with 3 checkers. The alternative would be to go like this and then come out. So now white has to use the 6s and 1s to hit here rather than making this point with a 6-1, 3-1.
Good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
So somewhat of a distraction, and you might make this anchor, you might not.
Right. Like I said earlier, I guess, with the score and everything, and you're playing DMP, you can afford to take a few extra risks to just try to keep him distracted if possible. So the only thing though is that you still have that ugly 23 point back there, and so it just makes it kind of difficult to have return shots at that bar point if and when you get hit. So I'm kind of torn. I'll go with whatever you decide to do on this one.
Well, I always give the guest the final option, so it's up to you, and it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. We'll learn afterwards, whatever it is.
Okay. Let's come out. Let's see what that
Okay, see what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm wrong, so I tell people in advance.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So what happened? Okay, double 5. All right. Now double 3. So this one is first.
That's a great roll. Hit with
Okay.
1. Can we button anything up back there? No, not really. Can we escape anything? There's kind of two themes going on here. We could try to unstack that big 6-point into the inner board. Or the other option would be to cover the 10-point and perhaps go like 18 to 15 to minimize the number of returns that he has against that blot from the
Yeah.
bar.
When I'm looking at two plays, some of the things I like to look at is how do the opponent's rolls play after either one.
Sure.
And some of the easy thing to do is like when the opponent is on the bar, is just look at the dancing number. So if we make this play, there's one dancing number, right?
Yeah.
Double six, of course. If we do this play, now there are four. That's four times as many. That's the biggest increase in terms of dancing rolls when you increase an interboard point. Going
Percentage wise, yeah, yeah.
yeah, percentage wise, it quadruples. Then going from a 2-point board to a 3-point board only goes from 4 to 9, which is a little more than double. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the things. So I look at like how the threes play and how the sixes play. Otherwise, so like 6-3 here would be really bad, right, for white.
Right.
But after this, 6-3 would be okay. At least it's not
Yeah.
dancing.
You probably hit on the inside there.
Yeah, what about like 3-1? You know, you can come in and hit with threes, whereas after the other play,
Mm-hmm.
you can't.
Right, right, right.
Those are some of the things that I
Yeah,
think about. But of course, like the best thing is to make the forced play first, so one, and of course you want to hit, then it's just a matter of the other two.
yeah. I think it's probably better to make that interboard point, see what happens.
And you don't worry about like leaving blots at this score, as we said.
Right. You are worried, but not as much.
Not as much, right. Yeah, not
You
as
still
much.
have to win the game.
Right. Okay, so 3-2.
Okay.
All right. The other way would have hit with the 3-2. Okay, so now 4-2.
All right. I think at this point I want to grab some kind of an anchor back there. So 22 to 18. And I think I want to get that blot to safety.
Yeah,
There you go.
very good. Double two. Okay, so now we can hit with fours. There we
Okay.
go. 4.
Hitting for sure. And as for the 3, we're still 18 pips down. I still kind of like leaving that back checker way back there. He has a lot of harassment value. So the only other options would be 13-10 or basically 9-6. I don't think I'm slotting here. Yeah, that's a little bit large.
Yeah.
So, we're kind of entering a bit of a holding game theme here. We're the holders, and he's trying to not be held anymore once he gets that back checker to safety. So probably just good to play safe here.
Safe. Yeah. This will be interesting to look at. Okay.
Yeah, sure. Some good options.
All right. 5-2, and now 5-4. Okay.
I still want to leave that man back there. I don't want him to go anywhere. And the only other thing I can see here would be 8-4 and either 5-1 or 8-3 with the 5.
You mean 6-1?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Or like this.
Right, just slotting points, trying to get ready for a hit.
Yeah. I think this is certainly reasonable. If you're talking about this, like the back checker cannot move with a 4, of course. This one is not going to move with a 4, and you're not going to move either of these with a 4. So
Yeah.
the 4s are going to be somewhere here.
Yeah.
So let's say you do this, which is probably the best use of a 4 because it unstacks and slots the next point.
Right.
In terms of the 5, 8-3, bringing another builder, a dilly builder on the 3 is not good. And 6-1 is a little bit deep, although it does slot a point. The
Yeah.
alternative of doing this is it does decrease the contact, but now down by 13 pips. Some people say, when you're ahead in the race, and vice versa. When you're behind, maximize contact. But there's also like a certain amount of contact. Like if this were like a regular 18-point holding game and
Mhm.
you were white in this position, it's not quite a double yet, right?
No, I don't think so.
So that what that indicates is this is like pretty sufficient contact for now. You
Yeah.
know, we may want this contact, but this is the for sure. And then I guess there are a couple of options with the five. You like the
Hmm.
6-1,
I would actually prefer 8-3 because at
eight
least
to
that
three?
Billy Builder is still playable,
Okay,
somewhere else. But I think because of the DMP way in which you're trying to play this game, you want to keep that last checker back there, for as long as you possibly can. Even though your concept of like, shrinking the contact zone
right.
is a strong thing to think about. I think that we still need to stay back at the score.
Yeah, the other argument for bringing this up is that the otherwise the five creates a dilly builder that's a little bit hard to use or slots the deep point. So we'll do this and we'll take a look
Sure.
at the analysis.
He's probably going to try to run on his next roll. So,
Right, right. So 5-4.
yeah.
Okay, there. Okay,
Okay.
so now the twos are duplicated to hit and cover. 5-4.
All right. Keeping that rear checker back there.
Okay.
Um, I think that it would not be wise to clear the 8-point and put another checker on that 4-point. I mean, it does have the value of being able to cover the 4 in preparation for another shot. The midpoint, breaking the midpoint, both checkers coming down, getting ready to make that 4-point the next time is a good idea. Or just bringing one all the way down, but then you're leaving the midpoint blotted, so you're exposing yourself to a shot.
Yeah.
So those are the three choices that I see.
What what about the other idea that you had last time like this?
Mm-hmm.
Now you have a couple builders
That's
here.
not yeah, that's not unreasonable. That's not unreasonable. Yeah, I mean, I can see the benefit of that is taking another checker off that 6-point, which is sort of a tall stack. It's not really as tall as it started, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I still think that bringing down the 2 from the mid is probably
Yeah.
the strongest play here.
Yeah. You want to make these points first, right?
Exactly. They're kind of aiming at both of those 2 points there.
Okay, good.
You still have the contact value from the 18-point anchor.
Okay. 2-1. All right. Now we can hit with sevens, but not with 6-1.
All right. 6-4. Okay. No hitting here. I would absolutely cover that 4-point. And I would probably start the 2-point.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Double one. We were hit.
Shifting.
6-2 danced. All right. Now, are there any hitting numbers? Double fours, double threes? No, doesn't look like. Oh, double five. Oh, five's hit there. Yeah. Double four.
Double
Okay,
threes
that's
work for you?
blocked. So
No.
one.
Double fours. Okay. Back checkers aren't going anywhere, so let's cover the 2. Let's slot the 5. And let's just go 8-4.
Yeah. Okay. So now we have reasonable chances of the race.
Yeah, we have a good board. We do get a shot. It's
Yeah.
a better opportunity to hold them there.
Okay. No shot yet. So this one is forced.
This is terrible.
It's not a good roll. Okay, so we were
Hey, you
hit.
got to hit him here.
3-1. So the 3 and then just cover with the 1.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so now
We're down tremendously, so we just got to keep those 2 checkers back, trying to harass them. I would say slot the ace point with that runner there.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna have a lot
You
of time.
can't lose a gammon, so
Yeah, what I tell people is sometimes when you have these types of scores with the gap here, and these gaps that he has to clear, these are not technically anchors, but they work as what I call phantom anchors because
yes, yes,
they're essentially protecting, right?
they turn from being liabilities to somewhat assets.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 5-2. Now we have return shots 5-2, 5-4, and 4-3.
Yep.
And there's double five, double.
Possibly anchor opportunities
Hmm.
to.
Right, not that time. Okay, we're gonna need something good here.
Looks like we're toast here.
Okay. All right, we're gonna have to win in the race. I'll just play it out and then I'll
Okay,
pause. I'll pause for just a moment,
sure.
I'll save it, and then we'll look at the analysis. Unless we win this game. Give me one
Oh man, it
moment.
was so close.
Okay, now we'll take a look at the analysis.
All right.
Well played, 5-1, straightforward. Then the 3-2 was clear to make that anchor.
Mhm.
And then this was the 3-1 that we were looking at. Yeah, that was really clear. Any hitting play was a blunder.
Oh yeah,
See
huge
that
blunder.
here. It's just like one of the things I learned. I recently did a video with Bill Roberti, and he taught me like this 21 point is going to be a long-term asset, and so is the 5 point. You're basically giving up the opportunity to have two long-term assets for hitting. It's not worth it.
Yeah, they're both good long-term assets for sure.
Right. And the 5-4, yeah, this was clear to hit once here, right? The
Right.
double hit was not. So what I can
Preventing him
do,
from anchoring.
yeah, what I can do is put this on the we can adjust this. Okay, so now remember we were looking at this. Now they're much closer.
Right. As you described in the video, it's like when you have more checkers in the zone. Oh no, wait. No, that doesn't. It's still a pretty solid.
But
Yeah.
it's only a small error of 55 millipoints, whereas here
Yeah.
was a blunder of
The
160.
error did shrink quite a bit.
So yeah, it's true. I mean, you obviously want to make the best play, but when you're looking at, modifications, then you want to think about like how much improvement. So like
That's the best way to learn. Absolutely.
let's say you have this, or what do here? What if you have another checker here? What was the position? Let me copy this and paste it here. So let's modify it by bringing one here and now bringing one here. So now what? Now there's also an 11 pip racing lead. But let's see. See
Yeah.
now.
Now you just make the ace point.
Oh, now you make the ace point. Oh, okay, yeah. So let's do this.
Another good option magically appeared
Right.
there.
Okay, so now with an extra checker in the zone, that makes a big difference. So like
Right.
when you have more checkers in the zone, the double hits become stronger.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Then the 3-1, yes, as we discussed, it was clear to make the point on head.
Mm-hmm. By a large amount too.
Yeah. Now the doubling. Okay, so yeah, good, nice double. So what do you think would need to be modified to make it into a pass?
To make it a pass,
Yeah.
uh,
About a second checker on the bar.
yeah, second checker on the bar. Maybe clear that 18 point on the other
Yeah,
side
that's big,
somehow
yeah.
by like, making it not a 4 prime, but rather a gapped 4 prime, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
good. Okay. But it looks like the 6-2 was better to do the other one.
Yeah. Okay.
I told you sometimes
Medium error there. So, all right.
I guess you're paying off to those joker numbers like double two that was
Right.
rolled.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, and then we danced, and this was wow, borderline. That was close. I think it was because of the score. I wonder if it were different, like what happens for money. It's a bigger pass. What
Yes.
about different match length, like a 7 point match? It's a bigger pass. Um,
Yeah.
that's interesting that there's 25% chance to win, but it's a pass.
I don't even think even if you were trailing at two away, four away, that it would be a take. I think it'd still be a solid pass.
Two away, four away.
Right. Yeah. Meaning
Well, you can't redouble it.
if we were trailing, we have a pretty deep take point at
You
two
mean
away.
with a center cube because you can't redouble, of course.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's see. Wow.
There we go. Okay, I guess I was wrong.
Trailing, yeah, you want to because the redouble just like does a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's an auto redouble. So that's really, I guess we have to do a little rollout here, which I'll do later.
Sure.
But usually at 25%, it's a take, but here it's not. I mean, here it's more than 25%, but it's a pass. I'll
Right.
have to roll it out and see. Okay, so the next game, so these were all close. See, the major split is slightly better than the minor split for
Hmm.
kind of
Hmm.
those things that we discussed. Um, and then we danced with the 6-4, and then the 6-2 was two, and looks like all these plays were close.
Yeah. Your play's on top, though. That's a correct DMP play to just pop out and
The 18, yeah, those tend to be a distraction play, but I think it
yeah,
looks like the 13-7 was a touch better than the 11-5, maybe for
yeah,
those things that we discussed. But these are close. When there's that close, I don't make a big deal of it.
yeah.
Um, and the 5-2, okay, so this was like a distraction play, and the other distraction play was to leave it here and play 6-4,
Hmm.
or even
Yeah.
13-11.
Unstacking that big tall stack on your 6 point and put it to good use on a good point that we'd like to make at some point, but
Yeah.
taking on the risk of being under the gun, I guess it's worth it.
Yeah, I think at this score again, you're not so worried about getting pointed on because gammon losses don't matter. But if you're missed, you have a good chance of making the anchor.
Hmm.
Okay, and then the double three. This is the one we were looking at.
Yeah, I think we chose wisely there.
Yeah, what was the other one we were looking at? This one.
Uh, yeah, just leaving the blot on the 10, but stepping up and reducing the returns on the 15.
Yeah, this one. I guess we can look at the dice distribution analysis. Do you ever look at this?
Yeah, from time to time. It's a great tool.
So like the 6-3. See, 6-3 is good. I mean, it's bad after the other way, but good after this way.
Hmm. Hmm.
I've designed my own version of this. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's
Hmm.
available to US BGF members. Do you want me to show it to you? I can show it to you quickly.
Sure, that would be great.
Yeah, let me show it to you. Oh. So I have some friends who have helped me with this. You basically take this data, extract it from XG, and paste it into an Excel file that I've designed, and then I'll show you what happens. Okay. Okay, so basically you look at this one and I look at the final. So this is the top play, right? This is going to be play A,
Yep.
and then this is the second play we looked at. This is play B. Okay, so this is the equity heat map, the same thing we saw on XG, but the top two, these are now on the exact same scale. So that means the lowest value for either one is the darkest red, the highest
Yep.
value is the darkest green, and instead of using yellow as the middle, I use white.
Those are the biggest swing numbers. Yeah.
Right, so you see the double six is bad either way, but the 6-3 here becomes different. And down here on the lower left, it shows basically the difference between the two.
Yeah.
So it's subtracting the equivalent cells. So you see how the threes become really good for us.
Okay.
Remember,
That's a great concept right there, Alex.
and you see this, and you can see this. It basically shows the 6-3 and the double three are big swing rolls in favor of play A. And 5-3 and 3-2, which is what was rolled, the other way would have hit.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is available to USBGF premium members. I did a video about that.
I'll have to look it up for sure.
Yeah, you can look it up. So this is basically what happened with the 3-2 came into bar 20. But if we had made the other play, 3-2 would have come in with the 2 and hit with the 3.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at like the swing numbers. Okay, so let's see. 4-2, there was nothing really good to do here. It was just you had to make that. And then safety was slightly better than 6-4. All right, and here, yeah, this is the one. This is another one we were talking about. There were a few that we were talking about.
Yeah, where to play that 3.
Look at that.
I guess the purity rules all there, huh?
Yeah. This other one that I was thinking about was yeah, still an error, but
yeah.
And the safe play. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter if you're hit. You might have a chance to get an anchor.
Yeah.
And if you're not hit, it's good because you have a lot of. You kind of have to look at like both the upside and the downside.
Yeah, I mean, you have great distribution of your spares on the offensive side of the board. So, when you do get away with not getting hit, you're in a very strong situation.
Yeah. So this was the next 5-4 that we were discussing.
Yeah.
It looks like the top two plays were close.
Okay.
But it did like kind of moving up.
Yes. Good call.
Despite the fact that, yeah, sometimes you want contact, but you don't want to have to give up things like playing 6-1.
Yeah.
And then let's see what happened here.
Okay.
Here, the next 5-4. Yeah, it looked like it liked keeping the midpoint and just
yeah,
playing like that.
Yeah, the common theme here with these last 3 or 4 plays seems to, just play even more pure than what we were coming up with over the board.
Yeah, I think the benefit of this is you have an immediate 3-point board, whereas here you don't.
Right.
So like if we make this play and hit next, at least we have a 3-point board. But if we make this play and hit next, we may have a 3-point board, but we have to hit and cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
You lock down the 3-point board here for sure.
Yeah, okay. So then this one was just making that point. That was fine. And then we danced with the 6-2 and the double 4. There weren't a lot of good options, but you had to come in, of course, and make that point, and basically anything else was fine. Okay. Then the 6-5 was forced, and the 3-1, the 3 was forced. Okay, the 6-5. This is the one we were looking at. Look at that.
Yeah. Now that I see it, it makes complete sense.
You didn't see it the first time?
No, I didn't even consider it, actually.
You didn't see the analysis. I think, like, one of the things we were saying is when you do this, okay, you're behind, you have some contact, but you're only down 9 pips in the race. If this were a straight race with 79 to 88, you have reasonable chances. So this kind of gives you options, like if we were to roll a double 6 or a double 4 next, that would be good from here. But from here, not quite as good. So it's like non-committal. That's one of the concepts Bill Roberti wrote about in Modern Backgammon. If you have a play, it's like in chess. If you have a play that gives multiple options of winning, that's oftentimes something to consider.
Keep multiple game plans alive.
Right. Okay, so there wasn't a lot to look at here because we were dancing, and that was pretty much it. There was nothing
Game over,
else,
yeah.
but well played. So I'll do further analysis, more in-depth analysis of each one, each play, and I'll send it to you, and we'll kind of look at that.
Sounds good. Of
Uh, but that was good, really fun, enjoyable. Learned a few things.
course, yeah, I did too.
Yeah. What do you have any other comments about this?
No, just keep up the good work, Alex. I think this is a great thing you're doing. I'm getting more and more into watching some of the backlog of videos that you have on YouTube, and I've been playing this game for almost 30 years, and
Yeah.
I'm still learning stuff. I'm still picking up stuff, so it's great.
I know, yeah, it's like you talk to some of the newer players and you have like some simple concepts, and then like I was talking with a younger player and I was telling her about like some like really advanced concepts about like calculating recube vigorish by the numbers in XG and things like that. There's just a lot there's a lot to learn. So it's a
Sure,
lot of fun. I'm happy to actually be able to see you because I haven't seen you in so many years.
I agree.
Yeah, and if you'd like to do it again, I'm happy to do it. Sometimes we do like doubles, like so if you have a friend that wants to come and we
Okay,
can doubles consulting. And I know you live not too far. Hopefully, I'll be able to see you
yeah,
sometime soon. You're not able to
about 3 hours
travel.
away, probably 2.5
Yeah,
to 3.
with the kids, I'm the same way. It's hard for me to travel to tournaments with kids and work and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
They keep you busy.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I've been trying to teach my son to play, but your kids are kind of learning a little bit.
They're getting close. They're getting close.
Yeah, one of the initiatives I've been doing, and I'm glad you're here because it's relevant, is to get more youth involved in playing backgammon. And there are many things that can be done and have been done. Specifically, one of the things we did together, maybe about 10 years ago, one of the USBGF initiatives was to go to the local university here at the time. It was UCLA when you lived here, and we went and we found some players. We found them through the chess club.
Mhm.
The challenge is after you go, you recruit some players, but then they graduate, and then it's
They
hard to
move
keep.
on, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you have any ideas as to how to get more youth involved in the game?
Um, I can tell you there's a gentleman in the Orange County Club that I met about maybe a month ago. His name is Stephen Miller, and he comes from the chess world. I guess he was a chess teacher. He was doing that for a living for a while, and then he discovered backgammon and decided that there were some great features of backgammon, and he wanted to get into it. So now he's started uh, contacting elementary schools in his area up in Orange County, trying to see if they'll pay him a little bit to come in and just kind of do an introductory presentation and let the kids just kind of play around with the board and stuff like that. We're talking third, fourth, fifth graders, so
Wow.
that age in that age range. So he seems to be pursuing that pretty intensely. So I can put you in contact with him, and maybe we can see what comes of that.
Yeah, that would be great. We had at our local tournament, we have a player who's in high school, 16 years old, and he's been coming routinely once a week. Last night he won the tournament. He's actually a very good player.
Wow.
So yeah, if we can get like some high school students to come and then they play and they bring their friends, I think it's a lot of fun to have a diversity, both in terms of ages, genders, cultures, things like that. I felt like ever since, so obviously the COVID pandemic has been terrible, and you never want to repeat it, but I like to look at the positives. One of the things that's allowed is people are doing virtual meetings and things like that through Zoom, like we are now, and it's allowed me to have this and meet people from all over the world that I would never have otherwise met. I mean,
Without having to leave the office.
yeah, whether I'm leaving to the office, I'm at home, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's really nice, and even with kids, like I did one with an eighth grade student in Russia yesterday.
Russia. That's good.
Yeah, yeah. Her name is Hannah, and she has her own backgammon YouTube channel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Send me a link to that. I want to check it out.
I will send you the link. I did the video was posted today, and there's a link in the description there. Okay, so wonderful. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description. I'll put your contact information, so people are interested in lessons. They can contact you via telephone or email, or they can text message you at that phone number too. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Do you have any other final comments before we conclude?
Nope. I just want to say I appreciate you. Love what you're doing. Keep up the hard work.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you. Thank you to the viewers for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as we have. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Again, my book, Backgammon Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. And if you're interested in lessons from Justin, his contact information will be in the description, his telephone number and email address. I look forward to seeing everyone in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.